The Wii was released on November 19th, 2006, almost 20 years ago, and it was hugely popular, with stores selling out of Wii consoles like crazy. Why? Motion controls. They were brand new and never seen before on any video game system, and everyone went crazy for them. It was almost impossible to get a Wii in the first year of its release. But 20 years later, is the Wii still worth it? Just like I said, the Wii was a huge phenomenon because the motion controls. Now, the reason people went so crazy for motion controls was because no other console out at the time had ever done it before. After Nintendo's failure of the GameCube, only selling 21 million units in its entire lifetime, compared to its competition at the time with a hugely successful PS2 and the original Xbox. Nintendo realized the reason the PS2 sold so well was because of innovation, not necessarily power. Since the PS2 sold so well because of its ability to play DVD movies, Nintendo realized this and thought, the PS2 was focused on innovation and power. Why not we make a new console with the same power as the Nintendo GameCube, and we put it in a new shell, same power as the GameCube, but just with a new gimmick and innovation? How about we call it the Game Triangle, and its innovation is that it can be a printer and then print out stuff. Oh, I've got it. We can name it the Wahoo. I don't like the Wahoo, but maybe we should try something similar like... Oh, I've got it. We can call it the Subscribe. Well, the Subscribe is a good name and something that you should do, but I was thinking something like the Wii. I think that could be a good name for our system. Well, what about the innovation you were talking about? That I don't know. Why do you have a tennis racket? Well, I don't know why I brought this. Hold on. Why don't we make a game where you swing the controllers around like tennis rackets? I feel like that could be a good idea. Oh, and the game should have other sports too, like golf, bowling, baseball, boxing, all of those. And the innovation for the system should be holding the remotes like a TV remote, and you can swing them around to do different commands in games, like swinging around the controller to do a different command in a game, or you can hold it sideways and it'll have a D-pad and two buttons, and you can hold it sideways like an NES controller and control 2D games like Super Mario Bros. That way. I think that should be what the system should be. We could call it the Wii Remote. Yes, that's what we should do. Yes, I like that idea a lot. Let's do it. And that's probably how the Wii came to be. But the crown jewel of the Wii and what it could do was Wii Sports, an incredible game that perfectly demonstrates how the Wii works. Mostly every Wii came with a copy, and it is also the highest selling Nintendo game of all time, selling 82 million copies. But wait, why are there 20 million less than the number of Wii sold? I thought every Wii came with Wii Sports. Anyways, for being a GameCube repackaged in a new shell, it also has internet compatibility, something the GameCube never had unless you had the freakishly expensive LAN adapter. Now, for some reason, only worked with like 2 games. Okay, there were a lot more, but you get the point. The Wii had online much like the DS as well. Although the online wasn't great, it also fixed an issue with the GameCube, and that's having tiny mini CDs that could only store 1.5 gigabytes, which pushed third-party devs away from the GameCube and towards the other consoles like the PS2 and original Xbox, which had bigger CDs with more storage capacity, allowing for developers to make bigger games. The Wii fixed this issue, now having bigger game discs with 8 gigabytes, which doesn't sound like a lot, but back then that was a lot. Most games didn't even use all 8 gigabytes, which kind of defeats the purpose of having bigger discs, but they still allowed more third-party developers to develop games. Yeah, most of them are shovelware though. But the Wii had some excellent titles. Super Mario Galaxy, the best 3D platformer ever. Super Mario Galaxy 2, the best 3D platformer ever, but it's the second one. And many others, including GameCube games ported over, but with new play control. It also saw the return of Donkey Kong Country, and every big Nintendo series had a good representation on this console. Sadly not Star Fox, and a lot more. The Wii's controller, the Wii Remote, allowed motion control in games, obviously. That's the entire point of the Wii. You can shake the Wii Remote and it will do something. You can also point the Wii Remote at the sensor bar and use a cursor in games and the system menu. But you already knew that. It can also be held horizontally like an old NES controller to control 2D games, but you probably already knew that as well.
It also has many extension controllers that can add extra control in games, like the nunchuck, which can allow for 3D games to be played with some triggers and an analog stick, and even more, like classic controllers, pro classic controllers, other controllers, and even more controllers. But let's get down to the main question this video asks. Is the Wii still worth it 20 years later? Well, I think it is. I have a ton of good memories with this thing since it was my first ever video game console I ever played, or home console at least. My first ever console I ever played was the Nintendo 2DS, with Mario Kart 7 being my first ever game I ever played. But the Wii was awesome, and yeah, the games are really amazing. Another reason why it is still worth it is because you can also mod it. But I don't do that, but modding can give you access to some pretty cool stuff. Like you can put Minecraft on it, or a really bad version of Minecraft. You can get custom themes, weird apps, good apps, some other apps that are quite dumb, emulators, and even mods for games. I should mention Project M, which is a Smash Brawl mod that revamps the entire game as well. Yeah, I don't know, but modding is pretty simple. Of course, I don't mod consoles because I like them the way they are supposed to be played. I'm not against modding though. Next, I want to touch on the Wii's legacy, since it probably has the best legacy out of any retro console. Wow, that's crazy calling it retro. Anyways, the Wii's legacy is unmatched. Mario Kart Wii is still played to this day with competitive online matches still going on. Although the Wii's online servers did shut down like more than 10 years ago, people have brought the online back on. Mario Galaxy, which is best 3D platform ever, recently got a movie. Punch-Out came back on the system. Wii Remotes flew into TVs, and the Wii is still fondly remembered and still played to this day. I know I may not have been able to cover everything the Wii is good for in this video, but it's enough to give the point that yes, the Wii still is worth it 20 years later. So I'll see you in the next video.